What's up guys, SeanEDawgz here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a review of the Epic Type 2 Butcher. Now this Epic variant, if you want the quick 1-minute breakdown, it really is not worth it. The Akimbo shotguns, which is one of the weapon perks you get, they really suck. They have almost no range, and they only have 7 shots each. If you're more than like 5 feet away from the person, it's going to take like a minimum of 5 shots to kill them. So it's not very effective. It has a long time to kill. And the other one, it just reloads faster when your mag is empty, but I usually reload like after every kill anyway. I don't find that perk too helpful. So this gun is not really that great. I would not recommend buying it, and it's definitely not even in the top 10. So save your salvage and buy something else. Now in this gameplay, I tried to use the Akimbo shotguns as much as I possibly could, so you guys could get an idea of exactly how they're like in case you are planning on buying this. Yes, they are very good in certain situations. I'd say within like 3 feet, but the chances of you being that close to someone anyway, the gunfight's pretty much 50-50 depending on who gets the first shot. So it's not a very useful tool, although if you know how to use it, it can be very deadly. If you want to see a really good example of this, then just skip to around 7:10 in the video. I kept circling one of the buildings, and I managed to go on like an 11 or 12 streak, just running around like an idiot. So it can be pretty good, although the situations that it can be used in effectively are very limited. Now that other perk that lets you reload faster, it only works when your mag is empty. I mean, I guess it's pretty decent because on energy weapons you can't even get extended mags, so this is the next best thing. It makes your reload faster, but it still doesn't give you a great advantage. It'll maybe save you in some very specific situations, just like the shotgun, but definitely not worth the buy. Now the one thing I will say about the Type 2, right now I'm using the Molten Camo. I don't know what it is about the Type 2, but it has that cool orange bar on the top. I think it definitely looks the coolest out of all the weapons with the Molten Camo. I think it's called Molten, maybe Lava or something. But it looks really cool. That's not just on the Butcher, that's on every Type 2. Just a quick little fact to throw out there in case you're looking to put on some cool camos on this weapon. Now for the class setup, I definitely would not recommend putting a silencer on this weapon because it is one of the weaker guns in the game. I would start off, you don't really need a sight because this is one of those guns that has like a built-in weird little like ELO sight sort of thing. So the first thing that I put on here was grip. This gun does have some kick, and you'll definitely want to mitigate that as much as possible. For my second attachment, I'm using quick draw. That's one of my go-to bread and butter attachments because it really is just such an advantageous perk. If you can get your gun up faster than your enemy, chances are you're more likely to kill them. It's a pretty basic concept, but I would definitely recommend that. I have noticed for a lot of these epic weapons that I end up using 3 attachments, even though on my regular guns I only use 2 and a sight. I guess it's just because they're so different compared to the other weapons. So for this Type 2, my third attachment, I actually use Particle Amp, which extends your stopping power range. I use this because at long range this gun is definitely a liability. It does have a quick fire rate, which really does help for those short range and medium range engagements, but it's not that steady, so I try to make it as good as possible from those long ranges. That's why I use grip, and I also use this particle amp to get more of those 4 and 5 shot kills, so you don't end up emptying an entire clip and not getting that long range kill. Now I still would not recommend engaging in like real long range gunfights, because if the guy's using an NV4 or something similar, you're gonna get destroyed. This gun doesn't really have that melting ability past maybe like 25-30 feet, so you'll still want to stick to those medium and close range engagements, even though you have these attachments that are helping you at the longer ones. Those are just like a last resort trying to save you sort of thing. Moving on to the perks, I use my regular perk setup that I use for pretty much 95% of my weapons. My first perk's Ghost. That's another simple concept. You just want to stay off the radar as much as possible. You don't want to end up getting flanked, shot in the back too much, so that's always a useful perk. My second perk 1, which is something that I usually run as well, is Overclock, because my specialist is Phase Shift and my trait ability is Perception, so I can see people, like my screen flashes yellow even when I can't see them, so I'll just pop the Phase Shift real quick, save my life. And with Overclock, you can get this solid every 40 seconds in the game, and it's very useful. It'll save you from any situation unless the other person has phase shift and then go into that dimension with you. But besides that, you're pretty much invincible for like 3 to 4 seconds, and it really comes in handy. Now for perk 2, I like to go on massive kill streaks, so I always use scavenger. I never want to be that guy that runs out of ammo, and unlike the NV4, not a lot of people use this weapon, so you won't be finding too much ammo on the ground. Scavenger is pretty much a must-have for this, because you'll be emptying around 20 bullets into each person because it's not that powerful. Now for my perk 3, I use Dead Silence. Again, I use this on like every single class because I take a lot of flank lanes. I like to get behind the enemy, not really try to engage in straight up gunfights, although I do end up doing it most of the time anyway. But Dead Silence is pretty much a must-have in this game. But that's going to wrap it up for this class setup. Just to remind you, you want to stay in these close to medium range engagements, and try not to get caught too much switching with wire triangle your weapon fire mode between the shotgun and the assault rifle. I know I definitely took a few deaths doing that, because you want to try to be prepared for what you're about to enter. Like if you're about to run into a building, I try to switch to the shotguns, but it's very easy to get caught out of position doing that. Sometimes you're better off, even if one isn't as good for a certain situation, you're better off just staying with it, because the time it takes to switch is about a half second, which could get you killed pretty easily. But I'd like to reiterate, please do not waste your salvage on this gun. You will be very disappointed. I make it look good in this clip, but this was the best game I had with it. There were a lot of games where I struggled to even go on like a 2.0 KD, which is awful for me. It's not really so much of the variant as much as it is the Type 2. I don't know, I just don't really like the gun too much. I feel it takes too many shots to kill, but even this epic variant, it is really not worth it. I don't even think it's the best variant of the Type 2, because those shotguns are pretty much useless, and I never wait until my mag is empty to reload, so that perk really doesn't benefit me either. So they're kind of useless, at least for my playstyle. It's coming from my perspective. I'm sure a lot of you guys feel differently, that's why I'm showing you a full gameplay with this, in case you are still thinking about getting it. But anyways, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. If you're wondering why my mic quality has been such shit these past few videos, it's because I'm home for Christmas break, and there is a terrible echo no matter what room in the house I go in. Right now, we're actually staying upstate for the weekend, so the mic quality is not that bad. But it will go back to shit in about 3 days, so be prepared for that. Also, one last thing. For the new year, I plan on doing a crazy video. It is going to be more than 1 hour long, and every second of it is going to be intense. So get ready for that. I don't want to spoil anything, but stay tuned. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to drop that thumbs up and comment with any questions or concerns you may have. I'd be more than happy to answer. And as always, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you in the next video.
UAV ready. UAV inbound to your position. Securing Alpha. We're holding all points. Defend. You'll need it at Bravo. Set them as Bravo. Securing Bravo. Losing Alpha. Set them as A.